If you're a Java developer, connecting your application to a database isn't just a nice-to-have, it's absolutely essential. Today, we're diving deep into the core technology that makes it all possible, JDBC. So picture this. You've built this awesome Java application with all this killer logic, but right now, it's just sitting there, isolated. To really bring it to life, it needs data. So how in the world do we bridge that gap between our code and the database where all that crucial information is stored?
Well, to answer that, we got to start with the core problem itself. Let's talk about the Java database divide.
Think of it like this. Your Java application speaks Java, and your database speaks, well, SQL. They're just not speaking the same language. You can't just jam them together and hope for the best. You need something in the middle, an interpreter, kind of like a universal translator.
And that's where our hero comes in. That universal translator, that's JDBC, the universal bridge that connects these two worlds.
So what exactly is JDBC? It stands for Java Database Connectivity, and it's an official Java API. The key word here is standard. It provides one single, consistent way for our code to talk to pretty much any relational database out there. Oracle, MySQL, Postgres, you name it. It's the diplomat that makes the whole conversation happen. So how does this all work under the hood? Well, JDBC has a few key players. Think of the driver manager as the switchboard operator who finds the right driver for the job. The driver is that specific translator for, say, a MySQL database. The connection is the open phone line between your app and the database. The statement is the message you're sending down that line, and the result set is the data you get back.
Now, to make that connection, you need a driver. And while there are 4 types, you're going to run into the type 4 or thin driver like 99% of the time. And for good reason. It's pure Java, which means it's platform independent and can talk straight to the database. No middleman needed. It is absolutely the modern standard.
Okay, so we've got the theory down. We know the what and the why. Now let's get our hands dirty. It's time for the construction manual, the 5 steps to connect. Look, these 5 steps, they are the absolute blueprint for any JDBC work. Memorize them. Load the driver, establish a connection, create a statement, execute that query, and, this is super important, close the connection. Let's walk through each one.
All right, step 1, we gotta load the driver. This one line of code, class.forName, is basically you telling the driver manager, hey, get the Oracle translator ready. We're about to make a call.
Next up, step 2, establish that connection. We use the driver manager and feed it a special URL, a username, and a password. If everything checks out, boom, you get back a connection object. That's your live, open line to the database.
Okay, step 3, we need to create a statement. Now that we have our open line, our connection, we create a statement object from it. You can think of this as the envelope or the vehicle that's going to carry our SQL message over to the database.
And now for the main event. Step 4, execute the query. This is where the magic happens. We take our statement, give it our SQL command, and send it off. The database does its thing and sends the data back to us inside a result set object. That result set is basically a table holding all our results. And finally, step 5. Please don't forget this one. Close the connection. You know, database connections are super resource intensive. If you leave them hanging open, you'll cause resource leaks that can bring your entire application to its knees. So, when you're done, you always close that connection. And just like that, you're connected. Awesome. But you know, making the connection is just getting to the starting line. Now, we can actually do something useful with it. Let's talk about mastering database operations. The whole reason we connect to a database is to perform what we call CRUD operations. That stands for create, read, update, and delete. And this maps perfectly to the SQL commands you already know. Insert to create, select to read, update to, well, update, and delete to remove records. This is the absolute bread and butter of working with data. Now, to send these commands, you've got 2 main tools in your toolbox, the statement and the pre-prepared statement. And listen, while a simple statement might seem fine for a quick one-off query, the pre-prepared statement is what the pros use, and for 2 huge reasons. First, security. It prevents SQL injection attacks. Second, performance. It's pre-compiled, so it's way faster if you're running the same query over and over. See those question marks in the code? Those are placeholders. This is the secret sauce. By separating the SQL command from the actual data you're putting in, it becomes literally impossible for an attacker to slip in malicious code. For any real production-level application, this is not a suggestion, it's a requirement. Okay, we've gone through the theory and the step-by-step practice. Let's wrap things up with some pro tips and a look at the common pitfalls you're going to want to avoid.
All right, first up, the best practices, the stuff that'll make your code robust. We've hammered this home, but always close your connection, statement, and result set. Better yet, use modern Java's try with resources block and it'll do it for you automatically. And of course, always prefer pre-prepared statement. Oh, and one more thing. In real-world applications, you'll want to look into connection pooling. It's a game changer for performance.
Now, for the errors you are absolutely going to run into at some point. If you see a class not found exception, that just means your driver jar file isn't on the class path. Getting authentication errors? Double-check that username and password. But the sneakiest, most dangerous one is the resource leak from forgetting to close your connections. Knowing these common culprits will save you hours of headaches. So when you boil it all down, what's the big takeaway? It's this. JDBC isn't just another API. It is the foundational skill that takes a Java program from being a cool, isolated little box of logic and turns it into a powerful, dynamic, data-driven application that can actually interact with the world's information.
And if you remember just one thing from all of this, remember the number 5. Those 5 core steps: load, connect, create, execute, and close. If you can master that sequence, you've unlocked the key to everything else in Java database connectivity. But you know, the learning journey never really ends, does it? JDBC is that solid foundation. And on top of it, developers have built these incredible tools, abstractions like JPA and Hibernate, that let you think in terms of objects instead of raw SQL. So the real question to leave you with is, now that you have this foundation, what amazing thing are you going to build next?